Welcome to the Too Much Dip podcast. It is Monday. My name is Dave. I'm going to host today. These guys were gracious enough to let me do the host stuff. That was weird. KJ's here.
Timeout. See what I did there?
This isn't Saved by the Bell. What are you doing?
So, you're wondering how I got here.
Wow. This guy's been emboldened by his circling back performance.
It was a slight jump from that to this. I'm excited to be here. Thrilled to be back in Austin, Texas. It's been about a month since I've sat here physically with the two of you lads. You know, we're both survivors. I don't know what to say about you over here.
I'm a survivor.
I think I had COVID before both of y'all.
I was an early adopter last Jan.
I wasn't even Omi.
Cool.
I was late to the game, player.
Yeah.
COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That's okay.
I'm two-time back-to-back champion. Somehow January's always get me. So, no, I'm happy to be here. It's been before the holiday party since we've done this in person. So,
Quite a performance at the holiday party
Let's
from you,
get
KJ.
people are saying I felt like we executed that pretty efficiently, pretty effectively. Post-game bar scene was great. I know it's been talked about in the past. I haven't had a chance to talk with you lads about it, but all in all, that was good. I can also solve a mystery. You gentlemen were wondering how we got into the bar all gratis. I just happened to have 220s on me, and there were four of us, so it was solved.
The depot.
Yes.
They do have a cover there.
You paid my cover? Did I not realize that until now?
Yes.
He's been
But again,
telling
this is
everybody
not
he
like,
paid
oh,
it.
hey, I paid. But I was shocked to see a situation in which there was a line and a cover charge for a situation like that. I just happened to have the appropriate amount of cash. So we got in.
That's shocking because Dylan normally has cash for a line, like in that scenario.
There was not
What do you
enough
mean?
time to unroll the dollars.
That other voice is Dylan.
Dude, I keep bands on me. Y'all know that.
Not that night. Did you Venmo me for that cover too?
I
Be
don't
honest.
know. Hey, remember that time when everyone was trying to get into Little Woodrow's for that fight? And like I paid for like 7 of my friends to get in, $20 each.
I bought the beer
I
buckets.
remember how 0 people paid me back. That was
Bought the
sick.
beer buckets.
Well, you owed me from that game of Wolf.
Dave did buy me a $3 Lone Star, so I guess we're
I did. I bought him 16 of them.
Anyway, thanks, KJ. That's very nice of you, man.
It's good. I'm not looking for credit on it. I just
Hey,
was
checks in the mail, man.
not concerned about it. I'll order lunch for everybody next time. From the right place. Listen to Circling Back. You'll get it. How are you two gentlemen doing? What's it like being in Dave Land and watching sports and stuff? What do we do on this pod? I don't
It's
remember.
fantastic, man. I was going to ask how you feel. You had a good performance on CB today. I just hope that are you still on that cloud or are you coming back down?
No, man. I don't want to come back down from this cloud.
Okay. That's my fault.
You're welcome.
I led you down that path.
It's taking me all this time.
He's doing Bush.
This is
Gavin
his
Rosdale.
second episode in a row, first being Circling Back, that he sang.
People enjoy his singing more than yours. Face it.
Well, that's
Nobody.
simply untrue.
We'll find out.
We are glad he's here nonetheless. Looking pretty bendy today, actually.
I appreciate
Okay.
that.
You know,
Pliability is a big goal of mine in 2022. Remain flexible.
we got a lot to get to. I mean, there's so much happening out there in the world of sports. You know what I mean?
You think Caleb Williams announces to USC while we're recording?
Hey, do you think maybe you could save it for the sports party while we're recording?
Sometimes I like to pre-party.
Yeah, you do like the pre-party, but pre-party alone. Don't
All right.
cuck our seg.
All right, bitch.
As we wrapped up last week's podcast, they were like posting their 3 coordinated written statements about his transfer portal announcement
Yeah.
last Monday.
What was that?
All-time bad look. I know, again, here I am re-cucking. But, you know, sloppy seconds.
Did
of
the
cuck is
AD
good
make
too.
an announcement?
Yes.
You don't see that.
You don't need it.
Or a statement, not an announcement, I should say.
It really reeks of self-importance. At
Mhm.
the end of the day, what they're talking about here is college football.
Mhm.
Like it, and one kid's choice to potentially, maybe now for sure, transfer. And they went to the Notes app.
And then they went to a PDF creator and wrote it out and had somebody else like read Grammarly and then post it.
Like, I I guess I'm kind of indifferent to the OU program. I've got good friends. My good friend T-Man, big OU guy. And we text about it quite a bit, but it's really it is kind of funny to me to see them for the first time squirm a little bit. OU as a program, because they're the last 20 some odd years they've been very, very stable.
Things have been good up in Norman. They still wake up in Norman, but otherwise, being a fan has been a positive experience.
KJ said it, not me.
That's tough, man.
Okay, I will. Never mind. I was going to say something very foul and inappropriate.
Oklahoma City is a great town.
I respect that. You lived there.
I did. I did 3 years there.
Did 3 years. Served 3 years.
If you guys want some of this banter, but you want it live and unfiltered and unedited and raw, and you want a little dose of game picks, check out our Thursday night live stream, 6:30, Washed Media YouTube, presented by DraftKings. Check it out.
Season-long picks, dip picks, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Season-long effort. Has been going very poorly for the three of us. We will have a conversation between now and Thursday and present our options for bet payoff buyout opportunities, because as it stands right now, your boy's almost guaranteed to be last place, barring a miracle.
If Micah hits on his picks tonight, he needs to hit us with the they had us in the first half, not gonna lie meme.
He did start 0-3.
He did start 0-3. It did not look good for Micah. People probably thought he was a plant.
If you think about it, truck nuts on your vehicle is pretty extreme, man. Not just that, but they're like bright gold. Like they're very flashy.
They're brass balls.
They're eye-catching.
Yeah.
You can't miss it. This dude's just rocking nuts on his whip.
Again,
That's a punishment, man.
I'm almost I'm willing to accept that punishment. As one who's paid off all debts in the past, all bet payoffs in the past. I've shaved my head or shaved a school logo into my head. I've done a few other things I won't admit in public. But the truck nuts, I agreed to this bet at the beginning of the season, again, when I lived in a house where nobody would see my vehicle that often. I had a garage.
Gated community, actually.
Yeah, behind many gates and walls. And now I live in a public place. So we'll see. We'll see.
Wow, beyond the gate.
Yeah,
this guy.
Exclusive communities only. There's a lot of football to talk. Mostly NFL.
We had quite the weekend in NFL. Games not only on Sunday but Saturday. Dylan, how'd you feel about that?
I felt great about it, especially since my boys were on Saturday.
Yeah, this ended up being. We ended up having meaningful games.
They beat the brakes off the Eagles, by the way.
They did, man.
Never really understood that saying, but they did.
They beat the brakes off of the Eagles. That is true.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
The brakes off?
I don't even have like
who's this brakes
innuendo to
guy?
pull out of it. No.
What does it mean?
Well, he's off of there. Third party question. I was happy to see Gardner Minshew have a little bit of success in the beginning. Obviously, that didn't last. But as Cowboys fans, what did y'all take away from this game?
Not a lot. I mean, okay, so the offense obviously was absolutely humming, and the people will say, well, the Eagles, like, their whole defense was out or whatever. Okay. It's good to at least see the offense get some positive momentum going into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the best part of this game for me as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. I mean, Dak was still throwing behind a couple guys. I feel better about the offense going into it, but I don't feel great. Another takeaway, Zeke is easily the worst running back on the roster. Tony Pollard didn't play, but Zeke, if you watch that game, he had the least amount of pop of any of those dudes, including our guy from Hard Knocks.
He's sluggish. He just looks slow.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Clement would be an upgrade at this point. Yeah, I don't know, man. And I completely forgot. This is sad. Corey Clement's role in the Philly special in the Super Bowl win for the Eagles in 2017.
He took the snap and tossed it to Trey Burton.
Yeah. I forgot how good of a game he actually had. I think he had like over 100 yards all around.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and now he's behind Pollard, so he's the number 3 back. When in reality, he should probably be the number 2 back because, I mean, Zeke just doesn't have it. But
Do you think that this was Fox game, right?
yes.
Fox graphics team or stats team was like, whoever it was, they were eager to tell you how much Zeke's declined. I think I'd looked up 2 or 3 different times, and they were like, Zeke's total yardage the last 3 years. Zeke's average per carry, and multiple times throughout the game. And they're like, basically, if he doesn't get 10 yards, he's going to be worse than last year, having played an extra game.
Man, you don't even need to look at the numbers to tell. It jumps off the screen. It really, it's so obvious watching him play that he's just not as quick as he used to be.
I do think he's a little hobbled, more so than he's letting on. He's had a couple. He had that one that looked like he was going to snap his ankle.
He has a knee brace on now too, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough, and they'll never part ways with him. Too many jerseys being sold, but whatever. No, it was fun because like all I could think of is, man, if you play your starters against all their backups and they somehow either A, keep it very close, or worst case scenario, they win. Like, dude, you're rolling into that first round like with no confidence whatsoever. So they did what they were supposed to do. Defense looked a little shaky. Granted, they did not have Diggs. They did not have Parsons. I thought for a minute there Randy Gregory got hurt, and he might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. I'm not sure, but I don't know, man. It was a weird Saturday night. Like I didn't watch the last 5 minutes. Switched over, Station 11. Got me again, KJ. Good recommendation.
Enjoyable. HBO Max for you people who are into that post-apocalyptic thing. The Chiefs and the Broncos played Saturday as well. I didn't watch much of this, but the Chiefs seem to have, gotten things together before the playoffs. We'll see what comes of that. We can talk about them a little bit later. But Sunday's games, as we went into this weekend, really the only game that people were talking about that really meant something was the Chargers-Raiders, because that was a win and you're in. People assumed pretty heavily that the Colts would beat the Jags. In fact, the Jags were 15.5-point dogs. KJ Ellis, throw some comments in there, believed otherwise. In fact, I picked them as my big boy stacks, picked the Jags to cover. But I had no thought that they would go out and embarrass the Colts, who needed to win that game to get in the playoffs. Not only did they not win, but they got beat by like 20 points or whatever the final score was.
There was a garbage time touchdown by the Colts, 2-point, I believe.
And not only kicks the Colts out of the playoffs, but automatically the Ravens-Steelers game that was being played when the Colts-Jags ended, they announced in that stadium that Colts lost the game. So all of a sudden that game becomes a win and you're in, potentially.
Barring
the
ridiculous
game,
tie.
The game later
the
on.
Night game.
Yeah. But all of a sudden you've got like Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson on the sideline. Like you can see them talking about it. And like the players realizing like we need to win this game. And the Steelers-Ravens game was, you can call it a lot of defense. It was ugly. Those two teams aren't very strong. But I would say that I'm like happy to see this ride into the sunset by Big Ben that he's getting. I don't think he's a good person, but like, whatever. He's played long enough. He deserves a little bit of pomp and circumstance.
You didn't want him to have his career ended by a tie?
That would have been ugly.
We would have gotten over it, but yes, that would have been unceremonious.
It would have been amazing.
Or I guess I want to save the Chargers-Raiders for after,
Okay.
but I mean, just in the moment of when you're watching, because they still had to beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Remember, so it was a tie game for those two teams. And if they would have tied, the Steelers would have had 2 ties. And I think then, I don't even know if they would have had a shot to get in or what. I think they said a tie didn't matter to either team. They needed to win. So that game became very critical. And neither team looked like they wanted to win. I think the Steelers won, 16-13 on the third possession of overtime?
Big 4th down conversion by Ben before the field goal. So,
Did you see the play right before the 4th down conversion? I think it was Deontay Johnson, wide receiver for the Steelers. Catches a ball, runs out of bounds, and a Ravens player like kind of had his hand around his shoulder pads and holds him for like a second too long. And like Deontay Johnson like flips out and like shoves his hand off, and it makes it look like he swiped at him, like and threw a fist at him. And all of the Steelers sideline is over there. And it was weird because usually if you see like a skirmish on the sideline, the team like mobs on the opposing player. Everybody like goes and grabs him like, dude, what are you doing? Like, cut that shit out because they would have cost them 15 yards, put them out of field goal range, and likely cost them the chance to win that game. Wild. And then he dropped the ball. He made up for it. But, happy for Pittsburgh fans in that moment.
Yeah. Who do they draw? I know
KC.
They're gonna play Kansas City next. So
Oh no.
Tough draw.
Yeah. Hate to see that. Now, before we get to Chargers Raiders, Rams San Fran. Did y'all catch any of that game?
It did.
Best game of the year.
Started 17-0.
Yes, an incredible game. A game that I picked the Rams to cover. I think they were -4, and so that Cooper Kupp, that late touchdown to put them up by 7. I'm like, oh, we got this. Yeah, and then they just kind of San Francisco. They just kind of went wild, tied it up. Of course, goes into overtime. Deebo Samuel, he's an absolute man. I love watching that dude play. He can do everything.
Go Cox, I believe, right? South Carolina?
Was he South Carolina?
I believe
I
he's
just wanted to say the C word, man.
No, yes, sure. I wanted to wear the hat.
I did not believe in San Francisco.
Okay.
Although I don't know, I can't remember if I picked them or not. You would probably know better than I.
All of us just faded Micah for
right. Okay.
None of our picks, I would say, were tied to beliefs.
Okay. Garoppolo comes in. All you're hearing about is the thumb. Maybe they put that out there. Maybe it's not as bad as they were saying earlier in the week because he didn't look great in the first half, but in the second half, I feel like he didn't miss very many throws.
Mm-hmm. And they were running the ball still.
They were running the ball, which that's what scares me as a Cowboy fan, and we will draw them on Saturday late afternoon game, I believe.
3:30 Sunday, I thought.
Okay. I thought it was Saturday. Either way, I don't feel great about it. But that team has 3 running backs that are very serviceable, including Jermichael Hasty, the Baylor guy, who I honestly did not know he was even on that roster, and good for him. He's carved out a little bit of a niche there. I had a fun time watching the games yesterday, and I said this was the best game of the season. I did not mean that. I meant last night's game was the best. This was a good game. Don't get me wrong. This was a great game.
Compelling for sure. Sunday afternoon.
But the Sunday night event.
One last thing before we get there. I mentioned earlier the Jags beat the Colts, and that knocks the Colts out of the playoffs. Well, the Jags were in position for first overall pick with only 2 wins. The Lions, who had tied the Steelers, which obviously that tie came into play here, were 2, whatever the math is, and 1. They also had 2 wins, but they had the tie, putting them behind the Jags. Well, the Jags win. Now the Jags have 3 wins. All the Lions had to do was not beat the Packers. And if anybody watched the game, all they did was show the St. Brown brothers and their parents in the crowd like 90% of the game.
You mean their dad, John?
It just his guy's name is just John. His sons are Equinemius and Amon Ra.
Did you know they speak German?
Okay. He's Mr.
Sick.
Universe. They're Mr. Universe's kids.
Does John speak German as well?
I don't know about John.
Oh, yeah, old John.
Or his brother Ron Hamburger.
It's not his brother.
Old John Universe. But yeah, it was an okay-ish game. There were a lot of big plays. The Packers weren't playing a lot of their players. Aaron Rodgers played a little bit in the first half. Jordan Love is not that guy.
He's definitely not.
At all.
He stinks.
At all. Wow. It's poo-poo. Very bad. Like Goff looked very good compared to Jordan Love.
Was the number 1 seed ever at risk for the Packers in that game?
No, they locked it up coming into the week.
So it was locked up. Okay.
It was really just the fact of like, you're going to sit for 2 weeks if you don't do anything. Even though Rodgers has like a toe situation, they just didn't. They were getting a lineman back. I don't know, whatever. They had some people play for like a little bit of the first quarter, first half. Anyhow, because the Lions fucked around and won, that kept them in 2nd overall.
Sorry, I thought you fell. I didn't mean to stop down the show.
I'm sitting down. How could I fall?
You just adjusted and it was quite loud.
I was typing. I was clickety clacking, and then I kind of sat back.
Speedy Claxton over here.
He explained to you that somebody needs to blow his back out, and you can't let the man just adjust in peace.
Clickety clacking, he said.
Respect for me, man.
Anywho, all of that happens, leading us to Sunday night's game on NBC, live from Las Vegas. and we're saddled with two of the weirdest looking quarterbacks in the NFL.
I don't know about that.
Like, I don't know why I can't look at Justin Herbert and just be like, there's that fucking guy. Like, that's a incredible quarterback. I just see him and it's like, somebody just tell that guy he's a good person. Like, it's going to be okay.
I think he's a heartthrob, like the ladies.
Yeah, he seems hot, dude.
Maybe. He always just looks like he needs a little confidence boost.
This guy does not appreciate a good hot quarterback.
I had Red Zone on yesterday. You guys hear about
That's
this program?
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Were you in the Serengeti?
And Bay was with me, and the Steelers won.
Yeah.
And I said, it's kind of crazy, but there's a game tonight. And I was explaining the whole, like, if they were to tie, what would happen situation. And, like, they would both make the playoffs. But, of course, whoever wins is in, loses is not. So it'd be cool if they tie. But it's never going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, it's so interesting, Dylan. I don't care. Anyway. Last night, we were watching a show, and I was getting score updates, and I was like, oh, my God, this game is in overtime. They both just kicked a field goal, and they're like 4 minutes left. And I kind of nudged her. I said, remember what I was telling you earlier about those two teams? Like, if they were to tie, but it's never going to happen. It's tied. It's in overtime. Very exciting.
That's how he talks.
Yeah.
I had a similar.
Like, I still don't care, but then.
You guys just whisper, yell at each other?
It was like 10:45 at that
the
point.
kids are sleeping.
It was late, yeah. But it was pretty funny.
I watched part of the Lions-Packers game with my dad, and that's when like that created a part of what created that scenario, I believe, because of the tie with the Steelers. I don't know, whatever. When that was coming down, we had the same situation because that was an overtime game, and then the Steelers came on, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know what you do in that situation. You would have to possess the ball and be in a position to kick a field goal to where the risk of kicking a field goal is greater than taking a knee. Like that's the only reason you would accept a tie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone, is slapping on the table measuring contest hardo and like wants to like go out and be great. And I'm like,
so Twitter was rooting for the tie
from
very, very loudly
Thursday
from
on.
Everyone,
however,
except for Steelers fans. I think even like Raiders fans were like, I want to see a tie. I want to see chaos.
So everybody wanted the tie. Most people. But what would everybody be saying if like on that last drive when the Raiders got the ball, they just took like 4 knees? Like, would people be like, oh, well, that dude, I mean, that goes against the spirit of the game. Would you be, because you would have that take out there from old hardened journalist guy.
At that point, I think it's totally acceptable because you play a full game, trying your hardest to win it. You go into overtime, you're still trying to win it. Each team kicks a field goal. There was at that point, 2.5 minutes left, maybe?
They got it before the 2-minute warning.
I think it's totally acceptable at that point. Like this makes the most sense. The fans have gotten their money's worth, right? We played a full game and then some. Like, let's just kneel it out, go to the playoffs. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
They were never going to kick the 50-plus yarder, correct? Right? Like, they had the ball, and it would have been 59-yarder. They would never have attempted that.
No, I don't think so.
Because that's the only bad thing that can happen, or other than, you missing it, making it, is them blocking it and returning it.
Or a muff snap, and it's their ball, and they get the ball at midfield, and let's say they want to take a shot to
You've got the best arm in the game.
win the game. Who's apparently it has to be 4th down for him to
What a fucking
make a play.
baller, dude. That was
jeez.
That was unbelievable.
That was insane. You wouldn't I think Chris said this, and I'm going to steal it. Like if that was in a movie, like a sports movie, and you're sitting there, you're like, dude, no way.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
It's always 4th down.
The second to last touchdown that he threw, I think he threw like 35, 40 yards. Was probably one of the hardest thrown footballs I've ever seen.
Do you think
the ball stayed like 3 yards off the ground? It was incredible.
He had one that he got into their tight end Cooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it was a perfect pass, but it had so much velocity on it that he could not handle it. Do you think his dad was smart like Dylan and got him Tommy Johns at an early age?
That's possible.
You got to think he layered for sure, but maybe on the Tommy
Dude,
Johns.
layered him up, got him TJ. He's cooking now. He's so fun.
Can I ask the generic?
It's so hot, KJ.
The generic cold pizza question of, you've got one AFC quarterback to start your franchise. Who is it? Or I guess quarterback period. Right now, who is it?
So you got Mahomes, you got Herbert, you have
Burrow.
Burrow.
It's either Burrow or Herbert. No offense.
Is Josh Allen still young?
I would say everybody's at their current age. So otherwise, like Aaron Rodgers or Brady would have been if you're getting a whole career. So current day is what you're getting.
So starting right now.
4 years into Allen's career, you're also getting Trevor Lawrence minus anything around him to show whether or not he's in that conversation.
You're still buying that stock?
Oh, buddy.
I'm all in on it.
I'm in a group text.
All in on it.
Somebody, I screenshotted this. I have screenshotted a take that is just the most thermonuclear take, and it was not so sure Davis Mills isn't better than Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, was this?
Wasn't Ross?
Okay.
It was actually another Houston guy, obviously, but
jeez,
saw that. And this is on the heels of their comeback effort against the Titans.
Got it.
Which was very, very valid. It was a good showing.
I think I'm still taking Mahomes.
Even
though he's 6 years in now?
Over Hurts.
Over Hurts? Yeah. Yeah.
I would take Jalen Hurts as I want just a good dude around who's just, he's going to be an absolute good guy.
He's a great number 2. I'm not saying that disrespectfully.
Yeah. Taysom
He's
Hill.
a great guy to have on your team, but he's probably not going to win you a championship, right?
I would say Mariota is what I would want Jalen Hurts' career to peak at. Or not want, but what I would project his career to be.
Yeah.
Because Mariota had some success, obviously, with the Titans.
Kyler. Shit, sorry.
Oh yeah,
there's Kyler.
Kyler's
too.
up there too. That's
I thought
true.
we were just doing AFC. We doing all?
I meant the whole NFL. But
Oh, okay.
all of these talents are in the AFC except for Kyler. I feel like.
So I think
the other best young quarterback in the NFC.
I think Herbert has the most raw talent.
Dak.
Love Mahomes, but I just worry about him staying healthy.
Okay.
And again, that's just from me following his career in college.
You're thinking of last year's Super Bowl hobbled walk.
And when he had his kneecap dislocated, which he's I don't think he is prone to it, but I don't know. And he's older. I just keep going back to Burrow. Even though I think Herbert has more raw talent, Burrow kind of seems like the guy.
He's got swag too, man. Herbert doesn't have.
Yeah.
Herbert does not have swag.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is weird because he's hotter.
That's
per KJ.
Dude, Burrow's pretty hot. Tell me you're not gonna
He's like Ohio hot.
Tell me he comes up to you at a bar, drags you out to the dance floor. You're going with him.
Burrow's brother-in-law.
Is he gonna twirl me?
Yes.
He's gonna spin my. He's gonna spin my little D off.
Well,
Burrow's the guy you hope that when you start a company, he's the guy training you, good looking enough for that company and middle management, but certainly not hey, let's head to the copy room. Not that hot. I wouldn't risk it all for Burrow.
Let's head to the copy room.
Is that where you hook up?
What fucking decade are you in?
Everyone knows you hook up in the copy room, man.
I don't know. Lock the door, me and Kyler.
The copy room.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
It was a great game.
Quarterbacks.
It was a crazy game of poker.
Yes, exactly. So
let's talk about the timeout.
Yes. So with 38. Okay. Well, let's back up a little bit. There's 2+ minutes, right? Raiders are moving the ball down the field. A couple first downs or maybe even just one is kind of all they need to. So San Diego has timeouts, but it's kind of understood that hey, let's just kind of kill the game.
Did Los Angeles have any?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
What did he say? San Diego?
San Diego.
I'm sorry.
You fucking
Los
dumb.
Angeles
You are
Go ahead.
such a
I'm so
loser,
sorry.
man.
The Chargers.
It's not as bad as me calling Washington the other team I did.
So Vegas moves the ball beyond, just past the 50, right? So not yet in the field goal range. There's probably 40, 50 seconds to go. It's kind of understood that they're just running the ball up the middle to kill clock, right? It is 3rd down and 4 to go. And play clock running down, game clock running down. The Chargers let the clock go all the way down. Sorry, the play clock go to 4 seconds, right? 38 seconds on the game clock.
Mm-hmm.
They call timeout.
The Chargers, that is.
The Chargers call timeout. So Staley, head coach of the Chargers, is getting all kinds of shit, as if this timeout was so stupid that it, I don't know, changed the game plan for the Raiders or pissed them off or something. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna get a first down and go kick the field goal and fuck you guys. But I don't really think that's what happened at all, because the Chargers let the game clock run all the way down to 4 seconds,
Right?
which means
The Raiders, he means.
What'd I say?
Well, either way, the Chargers did too.
But they technically,
Yeah.
you're right.
Right. The timeout was called with 4 seconds on the play clock, which to me implies like, let's kill clock here. Let's get this game over with. They're not calling timeout as if to like leave themselves more time if they were to get the ball back. And his reasoning in the post game press conference, Staley that is, was that we wanted to get our like run stopping, defensive personnel out on the field, which kind of makes sense. And to further defend the decision, the Raiders the next play did what they were doing, which is run the ball up the middle again. They just happened to get like 9-10 yards and put themselves in a field goal range.
That's ultimately what you should be focusing on if you are a Charger fan.
So did the Raiders
Your defense in that moment
really change their game plan because they ran the ball up the middle again?
They ran it, and I would imagine the thought process was, you know what, we're not going to put the ball in the air. We're not going to risk that, and we're not going to risk stopping the clock and having a punt.
But they came out in that drive throwing the ball.
They did. They did.
Aggressively throwing the ball.
No, but they said, if he can break one, we can get a field goal because the Raiders were playing for seeding. So if they lost, if that game ended in a tie, they're going to Kansas City.
And also another reason to throw is that they needed a first down, or else they were going to have to give the ball back to the Chargers. And you can't trust them that they're going to do the same thing, which is just kill the clock. So getting a first down just secures yourself that you're going to have the ball when the clock finally hits 0, right? Which is what you needed to win the game, or to tie the game even and advance to the playoffs.
Yeah, if this happens in Dallas, Mike McCarthy's getting flamed off the planet because he just has a history of these.
I think his
flubs.
his
timing
timeout
flubs
is defensible. Is that a word?
He wanted to get the right personnel on
to
there,
some degree.
If that's true, if he did not have the right personnel, which I don't,
then it makes sense. Let the clock go down to 4 seconds. Okay, you're still letting a lot of time run off the clock. Get your run stoppers on the field, and let's end the game that way.
In which
they
case,
pop one,
his timeout didn't change. Like, it didn't add any more time on the clock. Like, and at the end of the day, that additional time isn't what lost them the game. What lost them the game is the players not making that tackle.
Exactly.
I agree. That's a great point.
We're all on the same page. They would not have kicked an overly long, like a field goal 50 plus.
At some point, that risk of kicking, which I still think, again, that's me being conservative. I'm not the coach. Like, I think a bigger factor in this too is you've got a coach who's an interim coach, took over mid-year, first one to take a team to the playoffs while taking over as an interim coach mid-year since like the 60s. If this is a coach in, I don't know, list the coaches who got fired today, Flores, Fangio, all of these other coaches where it's like, I don't have the chips to be able to risk to kick this field goal. I don't think even if you get that first down and you're the Dolphins or any of the people who are out of there, like, you're like, no, I got to save my job. I don't have a chance to be wrong here. We need to go to the playoffs. And people would have been like, you know what? Good on you. But Bisaccia, he's playing with house money.
So and then the Raiders let the clock go down to 3 seconds, called timeout.
Yeah.
And from that point, it's either, okay, we'll just kneel the ball or kill 3 seconds, tie, advance to the playoffs, or kick the field goal. And, hey, maybe you want the Steelers in the playoffs instead of the Chargers because they're not as good.
I think
that
there
also
has
makes
to be
sense.
the seeding part and the Steelers angle. Not to mention this is a division rival to a certain degree. Like, I don't think that Bisaccia or the players have like some deep-seated hatred, but it's at some point you're not trying to see your division, it's not like conferences in college. Like, you're not getting any money from them being in there. This doesn't help you in any way. Lastly, there was a moment earlier in the game that the Chargers coach was getting flamed for, and he's been on this boat for quite a bit this year and actually been lauded and supported for his commitment to being analytics guy. And like, if something is a neutral or a 50-50 to increase his ability to win the game, he makes a decision, even if it's a 4th and 1 on his own 18 in like the second quarter.
Yeah, I wasn't watching at this point, and then I saw your tweet.
I can't remember which one it was, but
it was when keeping it real goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And in my head, I thought maybe like a Chargers player was celebrating and like dropped the ball and it got returned or something. No, it was that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's exactly the moment.
I respect his authenticity and his consistency.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want my guy doing that. McCarthy's pretty aggressive. I don't think he's that aggressive, but Chargers Sports Talk Radio has a lot to talk about today.
And it's going to get buried in the fact that Herbert was absolutely lights out on fourth down later in the game. So at the end of the game, there were 6 of 7 on fourth down, with that one fourth down being 4th and 1 on their own 18 early in the game before halftime. And it led to the Raiders getting an additional 3 points, I believe. I think they kicked a field goal right before half that they got out of that possession. And I believe in the analytics side of it. I know that you have to continue going for it. The outcomes aren't going to dictate the decisions, that if you do that over and over and over, it's going to favor you at least as many times as it doesn't. However, the outcomes in this situation isn't like win or lose a game. It's like win or lose and get into the playoffs. Like once the risk becomes greater, it's like, okay, it's one thing to lose a game. How much does this lower your chances to make the playoffs? I would have said significantly. I don't know if that's being factored in that moment. And for that reason, I would have been out and punted the ball. But tremendous game. Kept me up till friggin' 11:30 or whatever it was. And I'm glad it did. It was good football.
You mentioned this earlier, but we had some coaching changes. We've had some people get let go, terminated.
No real surprises, I'd say. Vic Fangio got fired after Saturday's game, which shouts to them for not waiting.
Fangio's out. Matt Nagy's out in Chicago. Mike Zimmer in Minnesota. Brian Flores in Miami.
That surprised me.
A lot of people.
After year 3, he drafted Tua, or he was there, and they drafted Tua for his second year, right?
They drafted Tua, and they did they not trade up? And they could have had Herbert. They passed on Herbert.
So maybe it was his first year, and they got Tua?
You talking about Flores?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
So he tied his success to Tua, which they've won like 6 out of 7 games. We went back and looked at the games they've won. They haven't been pretty. But this might be end of Tua Road there in Miami.
This is important. How much hotter is Herbert in a Dolphins uniform? Got that Dan Marino swag.
Hold on. Chargers have very hot uniforms.
They do, but the Dolphins are a more iconic franchise than the Chargers.
I'd say it's a push when it comes to uniforms. They're very similar uniforms at the end of the day.
Has either ever won a Super Bowl?
Yes.
What did John Duda say about Dolphins?
Oh, wait, no, Marino never won.
Oh, I guess the Dolphins went undefeated that year.
Yeah, 72. Okay. What are we talking about?
What did John Duda say about Dolphins on our live stream?
That they're fuckable?
No, that they're most likely to fuck a human, right? Or rape a human.
I think he said they're fuckable.
I think he said they were the most fuckable.
Oh, I apologize to anybody listening to this with their children and having their morning coffee, but hey, John Duda said it, not us. Go listen to Internet Party. Blame
He shouldn't have said that.
We were quoting somebody else. Those are not our words. I don't know.
Joe Judge still have a job?
Joe Judge is still employed. Dave Gettleman, the GM in New York Giants, is out.
That dude's trash.
You don't like running an obvious QB sneak? Was it 3rd and 4 from your own 5?
Third and 9. 3rd and 9.
It was 3rd and 9. You're right.
From the 4. Oh, let's get ourselves another yard so we can punt. That's the thinking behind it.
If you're Fromm, it was Fromm in there, right? How are you feeling about yourself like today? Like, man, these guys really believe in me. This organization wants to build around me. Tough.
No, man. Fromm's interviewing elsewhere. He's had his resume up on USFL.com for weeks.
Yeah,
okay. There's USFL.com. They have some postings.
That dude stinks.
He's going to be Kevin Sumlin's quarterback next spring.
Oh, my God. Is he coaching in Houston?
That was announced. I probably should have added to the sports party. I'll pull that. We'll do it in sports party. So real quick, playoff odds.
Matt Rule keeping his job, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Matt
Rule. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Curry.
Any other potential job firings that we should expect, or would
you might see the Cowboys lose 1, if not 2 coordinators, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, which Fangio fits in pretty nice as your DC, and maybe being reunited with Mike Zimmer, which I don't want that. But
wait, with who? Fangio and Zimmer? What are you talking about?
No. I'm saying that the DC
McCarthy
spot in Dallas, Dan Quinn, if he leaves, if he takes a head coaching job, which a lot of people think, he's interviewing for the Jacksonville job, right? Or he was rumored to. They could go after Fangio. I'm saying that there's these coaches available to fill in.
And you said reuniting with Zimmer, but you meant McCarthy, correct?
The Cowboys reuniting with Mike Zimmer.
Okay. I'm lost, but I'll follow.
Okay.
I'll go back and listen to the tape.
Okay.
You think the Cowboys could hire Mike Zimmer?
That was what I was going for, and apparently I am just out of it.
The Fangio as a DC part is what threw me off.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I worded that poorly, but yeah, he was that's what I'm saying. Zimmer has a previous history with the Cowboys.
1,000%. My prediction that I'll throw out there, which it hadn't happened yet, so I don't know I would, but the season wasn't officially over. I still think there's a decent chance that Pete Carroll is done at the Seahawks. Not that he'll be fired. He's in a position where he won't be fired.
He's like 96.
But he's 72, I believe.
72.
And, I mean, Belichick's
96 in coaching years.
He's an old bag of bones.
He looks pretty good for 72.
He's a hot 72. I'll give it to him.
He's in my top 5 72-year-olds for sure.
Ryan Herbert
he can
or Pete Carroll.
Room. What about Justin Herbert?
Who did I say? Ryan. Oh God, I did that again. I'm thinking of Ryan.
You sound like me today,
dude. I'm fucking out of it.
Your Dewey Decimal System's all fucked
up. There's a guy named Hebert that Dylan and I went to college with, and I do this at home when I'm watching the game by myself. I cannot.
Dang it, Ryan.
His last name is supposed to be pronounced Bear, but they put the East Texas flair on it. Anyway, we can move on. Hebert.
Anywho, I think that Pete Carroll has a shot to decide on his own to either retire or move on. There were rumblings about him potentially being tied to like the UCLA being interested. I don't see that happening. I see him retiring if he is to make a move, in which that would be my dark horse for Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn's services. Kellen Moore obviously being Boise State fame, Northwest ties. It's not college football, so you don't need local ties. But Dan Quinn going back to Seattle would also make sense.
Kellen Moore as a head coach just feels weird to me.
I just don't want it in Jacksonville.
He looks like he's 12. He's a mouth breather. It's just weird head coach.
And he might not be that great. I
want him to stay in Dallas as the OC.
Hey, as long as, like, one thing that is good for if Kellen stays here and the Cowboys fans, like what you should be happy about, is a part of what happened yesterday, the Jags beating the Colts. The Colts traded their first-round pick to the Eagles. And there was a point in the season which the Eagles pick and the Colts pick would have both been top 10 picks. Now, the Eagles are not in the playoffs and they don't have that first pick. The Colts aren't. And they don't have their first-round pick. And the Eagles have 2 ones, but now theirs is going to be, a late-round pick. And the Colts is like as late as you can be without being in the playoffs. So
stinks.
that benefits the Eagles a little bit. Or benefits Cowboys, I should say.
Yeah. I hate to see a girl boss winning.
There you go. Keep the other teams down. Quickly, playoff odds. We'll do more playoff talk come Thursday, but as I run through these matchups, Eagles versus Bucks. Bucks are favored by 7. Niners, Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3. Cardinals, Rams. Rams favored by 4. Steelers, Chiefs. Chiefs by 13. Patriots, Bills. Bills by 4.5. Raiders, Bengals. Bengals by 6. Any upsets that you guys would like to predict? These would not be official dip picks.
I really like what the Raiders are doing.
Okay.
I would definitely take them with the points.
Dylan?
I like Arizona +4 against the Rams. They might win that game outright.
Did they?
I don't know what the season record was between the two of them.
I mean, Hopkins is still out, yeah.
Yeah, they're getting Watt back. I don't know if they're getting him back for this round, but that's one reason I'm glad we dodged them. But 49ers, man, it would not shock me if they came into Dallas and just ran the ball to death. Not that different than what the Rams did to the Cowboys a couple years back. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't feel great about it.
Forecast for Buffalo this weekend does not show any precipitation. Otherwise, temperatures in the 15-degree range. So, otherwise, Patriots are probably the easy upset there. 4.5 point dogs.
So they split their regular season games, right? Patriots and Bills.
I think that the Patriots dropped that second one. They beat the crap out of them in that game. They didn't throw a pass in.
Oh yeah, that game kind of didn't count.
And then they lost the other one. So who knows? All right, it's enough NFL.
Can we talk about our friends at Truebill?
Yes, we can.
It's the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, you don't want, or you simply forgot about. Everybody has those. Most people have multiple.
What a no-brainer.
I had multiple.
No-brainer yet genius idea for an app, which is short for application. Genius, David.
You just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. One little tappy. One little tap-a-roo. On average, Truebill users save $720 a year. How about that?
Wow.
When I ran Truebill, when I linked it up to my stuff, I had some stuff that I wasn't even aware of, like what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I had subscriptions to services that I hadn't used in years. Not even sure they were still around, but they're somehow still collecting. And they've saved me money. They've saved, I think, arguably hundreds. They have over 2 million users, saving them over hundreds of millions of dollars. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/bang. That's truebill.com/bang. New sponsor alert for this podcast, by the way.
New sponsor alert.
You didn't even give it to him.
I slipped on.
Give it to him.
New sponsor. We
There
have
it
a
is.
new sponsor.
We have the national championship tonight. Did you know that? Are you going to watch or are you in on this Clayton guy's season?
I am in on cameo by Hillary Duff in The Bachelor tonight. So catch me not paying attention to football for that 4-minute segment.
This dude is the
Disappointment.
He is the most aged co-host we've ever had.
What are you doing?
I'm not saying I'm Googling her offline. I'm watching her on primetime.
like you've
national
never
television.
Googled her. You can't Google
Googling.
offline. What do you mean?
You know what I mean? Incognito mode.
Meat?
Did you say incog? Okay.
Anyways,
What is
people.
KJ?
The first note
Hold
KJ has on this rundown for the national championship, debut of the Katy Perry and Alesso music video. Who's Alesso?
I don't know. All I know is
Who is it, Cool Adam?
I don't know. I've heard the name. I don't know.
Cool Adam doesn't even know.
All I know is every time that I've seen a commercial for this rematch as the championship is how they're like trying to spin this to maintain interest. Which frankly, after a weekend of very good NFL, I've got like middling interest in actually what's going to happen tonight.
Really?
Every time they show the commercial, it's tagged with, and stick around for the halftime debut worldwide premiere of the Katy Perry and Alesso music video for When I'm Gone. I'm like, what the, like, as somebody who grew up prime music video era,
Like, is she going to dump him out
Okay.
for a
Like,
real
what are we
player, or
doing?
Why am I watching?
I'm looking at the promo. Oh, Alesso's a guy.
yeah, not a Baylor grad.
Is this like that's my wife? This is giving me flashbacks to like as being a 6-year-old watching like Monday Night Football, and you tune in after, and it's the debut of Michael Jackson "Remember the Time" video, and that was dope.
12-minute video.
Yeah, and it was like a whole production, one of the best videos of all time.
Eddie Murphy, Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson was in that
Yeah.
video.
There's a lot of money dumped into that.
There was.
Yeah, I don't understand how ESPN does this every single year, that they either will force feed us new Fall Out Boy songs over and over, or Imagine Dragons. And now I know I'm not going to offend any of the Follies or whatever they're called, or Fobs. I'm not sure what they go by.
Saturdays for the Fallout Boys.
Exactly.
I'm
But
sorry.
like, who are they thinking they're attracting by saying, "Hey, stick around for Katy Perry's music video"? Not even a halftime performance, a music video. Like, if Hype Williams isn't directing it, I'm not watching.
is it not? Is it not on Vimeo right now or YouTube?
It's not.
I can't go get a sneaky pre.
Have you?
Is that later?
This dude loves a good sneaky pre, man.
Have
I'll
you
watch it.
listened to the song yet?
No.
Is it heat?
No, it's terrible.
It's bad.
It's going to get torched online because there's like one repetitive line, the name of the song, over and over and over. It's kind of house music-y. There's no reason this should have been chosen, like have this much attention. It's going to get torched. I will also say, because I'm going to Vegas not once but twice.
Vegas, baby.
In March.
You're so freaking money.
I know. I was looking for activities to do for my sister-in-law, who's going to be going, and Katy Perry has a residency. And I was like, am I willing to spend a couple hours at a Katy Perry concert? And I was like, what else? What music does she have out? And that's when I stumbled upon this info.
So we talked about this, Will and I. Maybe Dylan was probably there.
I'll go to
Might have been
Adele
on the
one day.
pod. I'm down when we were there in Vegas for Dylan's bachelor party. I will go to a show, and I will absolutely go to a Katy Perry show.
I will go to a show. I don't know if I'll go to a concert unless it's Adele. I will.
The wickedly
Again,
talented
Adele.
different one.
It's not that. It's not an Adele museum.
We're not going to a show on my bachelor party.
Oh, sorry, dude. We're not gonna be. We're gonna be looking for you the whole time, bro. Because we lost you because you were so wasted.
Yeah.
None of us can remember.
I'll be at the cabana, bro.
Because Todd drugged us or whatever.
We'll save that for February. We've got plenty of time.
I got to get yoked before this thing.
Yeah, you do, man.
Yeah,
You do too.
I'm gonna switch to vodka
Hey, buddy.
only between now and then.
You noticed?
No, but you were bitching about it like a couple weeks ago.
Damn, I do. I need to get in shape.
All right. Well, the
COVID,
rest of the
big
game
time.
is also going to happen.
Let's get on roids. Let's the three of us get super yoked.
You think SEC fans are excited about our national championship preview?
No,
where I just
no.
talked about Katy Perry.
I am, and you're the one not excited for the game. I am. I don't care. Look.
Let's see what these boys have to say. Oh, Katy Perry for 10 minutes. Oh, Dave wants to go
That's
see
just-
a show in Vegas.
Hey, that's just-
talk about the fucking game.
Sorry,
Dude, that's KJ. Just hates the SEC.
Kirby Fart.
He hates the SEC. Look, I'm excited for the game, and I will be watching it. And I might watch the entire thing if my wife doesn't want to watch a Station 11.
Okay.
Who you got tonight? Who'd we prick? I'm on Bama.
Dogs are favored by 3. I think for some reason, after we faded every pick of the guests last week, I just got distracted, and my last 2 picks are the same as Micah's. So I'm rooting for, I think he picked Georgia in the over, Bama in the under, even though those won't gain me any points.
Why is this the line? Why is
Georgia favored by 3? I don't know.
Why?
Vegas likes
Why?
money.
Why?
I don't think it's fair
I don't
if you're
get
a
it.
gambler, but
I do not understand the line.
That's a first.
It's a cocaine joke. For those
2 in
at
1
home.
episode, Adam. You've
Don't
never
laugh.
seen that
Adam,
before.
don't laugh.
Adam's never seen such broadcasting.
Two
serious
cocaine jokes.
expectations of this game. Do we think that we're going to walk out of this and be like, hey, that was a rematch, but we got the best 2 teams and we absolutely got the best show we could have expected as college football fans?
Yes.
Like, we're going to get kind of the experience we got yesterday where you're going to feel like, hey, I'm glad I was watching football today.
I think so.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah.
Because we didn't get it out of the semis. We got it out of all the other New Year's Bowls, but not those 2 games.
You rarely get that out of a semi.
Yes, you're right.
I've heard you can do plenty with semis, Dave.
Okay.
You. Look,
Jeez.
this is gonna be a boring game.
I think you are so stupid right
It's
now.
gonna be a boring game.
Shut up.
Alabama games are pretty much always boring. They are. They
Last time they played in a natty.
Tua, ever heard of him?
Tua stinks. It's a boring brand of football, man. It is.
That was one of the best. Did they bench Jalen Hurts that game? Brought in Tua. He won. That was a great story.
Okay, that's one game.
I know. I'm just saying. There's precedent.
They put up 65 points combined in the last game, 41-24. Granted, some of that was later in the game, but they'll score on you.
Bama will control the game. It'll be close, but it'll never be like in doubt, in my opinion. It'll be like,
I think the Dogs get up a couple scores early, and I think you have a slow crawl back from Bama to the point to where it makes that, to quote a great man, it makes that booty hole a little tight for the Dogs. And
we some dogs.
I think that's when you see Bama in the 4th, as they often do.
They're not puppies.
No, they're not.
We're dogs.
Dogs.
I'm doing Jameis.
So yes, look, first half, I'm all over Georgia. Game, I'm all over Bama.
Well, a lot of these national championships and big bowl games, you often get conversations leading up to it, like, hey, are the players going to remain engaged? Are they going to be able to deal with all the distractions? Like, usually we're talking about, like, hey, Bourbon Street's out there. Not that the players are out there, but then they got to deal with family in town and all of that. COVID changes a little bit of that, but, it might be tough for them to avoid, like, going and checking out Indy 500 or in the Pacers. Like,
Shut the fuck up.
Like, maybe they'll just be too deflated after Carson Wentz let the city down. Like, what else in Indianapolis is the focus?
He is speaking unkindly regarding our friends in Indy.
Wow, man.
Oh, I'm just looking forward
Look,
to all the overhead shots.
Everyone in
of this.
Ohio already hates us. Let's not.
I'm
let's not move to a
shifting it
different-
west a little
Let's not
bit.
move to a different state. We'll just keep them all confined in Ohio for now.
Hey, ain't no rust on this belt. That doesn't even make sense. That's a bad line.
That sucked, man. I'm
this
going to tell you the
boo.
truth. Megacast.
I talked about this Thursday. Texas A&M coaching staff, Jimbo Fisher, head coach. That is the entire megacast. Besides, I'm sorry, that's the entire coach's room. You will get the Statcast, which I think is my preferred one.
Oh, this guy's in the numbers.
No, it's they put up like all the analytics and all that stuff, but you just don't have to deal with Herb Street, or which I like Herb Street, I should say, in terms of its on-air content. You don't have to deal with the extra fluff. I don't have to get them coming back from commercial, promoing. I don't know. There was a show that came on yesterday that they had a promo that was, critics are calling it this generation's Friends. Tune
Okay.
into
That show will fail.
Game Crew or whatever they called it. It was very,
Dude,
very
I'm on my
bad.
gang crew shit.
Like, I don't want to watch that. I just want to see the game sometimes. So
yeah, you
um,
are a big Herbie guy. You really liked his like transfer portal and bowl
bowl sit-out takes, concussion takes, all of the above. And then you'll also get the Blimp cast or whatever it's called, the Air cast. I think that's kind of dumb. As well as you'll get Homer cast or home team radio call. So you'll get the Alabama local radio stations call as well as the Georgia's. One thing I did not know for you nerds out there that are into bands, one of their stations or channels will play the halftime show from each band. So if you're into that shit, go check that out instead of Katy Perry.
That's
Can I
sounds
issue a fun fact? Speaking of blimps, did you know that Dylan and I's college, Texas State, had a Blimpies on campus?
All-time badass sub logo, right? No. Dino's in Arlington is what I'm thinking. There's Statue
Oh, I know
of Liberty
Dino's.
holding
Oh yeah.
a sub.
No, this is
That's not
Blimpies.
why is that noteworthy? Are they like
Because I feel like no Blimpies like
Exists.
rarely around anymore, and we just had one next to the Chick-fil-A in our food court.
there's no way it's still there, right?
No way.
They're
It's got to
the-
be a Schlotzsky's by now.
Yeah,
They're
you
taking
get
over.
trays of sandwiches there.
Ryder
Or
truck
Amati's.
of Ryder truck of sandwich places.
You guys want to party?
Yeah.
This is the segment where we talk sports and party at the same time. A little off the beaten path stuff. Clay's back.
Which Clay?
Clay Thompson.
Helton.
No, not Flounder.
Clay Guest. My
Clay
good
Guest.
friend. No, Clay's back.
Good to see him back. Last time he played was the finals in 2019, I believe.
Correct.
Man.
That's crazy.
It was a long road. I'm happy for the guy.
He played pretty well. I think he scored 17. He had a pretty badass throwdown dunk in traffic.
Yeah, he dunks better than you.
Better than Iguodala does
He's
now.
an NBA.
That was
basketball.
sad. Iguodala needs to not try that again.
This is the last time I saw a 37-year-old man attempt to dunk.
Good for Clay, man.
We're talking about you. He is. Not
All right,
this.
man.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, good for
I
him.
wouldn't have done any better.
Warriors are good. Speaking of the Warriors, you know, Mavs have won 6 straight, Dawn, including victories over the Warriors and last night, arguably the best team in the league, the Chicago Bulls, who do have a very, very sick roster. Luka's back. KP's still out with COVID protocols. Just watch out. I was very, very down on the Mavs a month ago. I've been down on the Mavs pretty much all year because it's looked ugly, but they're playing good defense, and some of their guys who we expected to shoot better from 3 are doing so. Reggie Bullock.
Bullock.
Not Bullock. It's Bullock.
The amount of players that they have that are former New York Knicks, bing bong for you, if you will,
Bing bang.
is absurd. But you know they're all contributing.
Speaking of our friends in Oklahoma,
Is it about their joints?
looks like you. No, this one's not. It's about their darts. Well, it's not theirs. Anyway, USC is losing Jackson Dart, 4-star, to the transfer portal. Why is that significant? What does that have to do with Oklahoma?
Well, he's a quarterback.
Okay, so you're saying that maybe he knows something?
I think USC now needs a quarterback since there's just transferred, and maybe he knows a little something. Like someone's headed to town from a little town called Norman. Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. The rumor is he's going there. He's following Lincoln Riley.
He's in the portal. Yeah, this is a long way from home for him. He's from D.C., Caleb Williams, that is. Going across country if he were to enroll at USC. Not that you can't do that, but that's a long way from home. I would think you'd stay somewhere closer.
California. He's from Cali. He's from Southern Cal.
Pretty sure he's from DC.
Oh, he might be.
Maybe.
Look it up. Bitch.
Oh.
Where's he from?
Oh, I think Dylan might be right.
Look at the big brain on Dylan.
Am I ever wrong? Adam, am I ever wrong?
I doubled down thinking he was from SoCal too.
Adam said no.
Malachi Williams or Malachi, whatever the quarterback commit that flipped from OU to USC was a Southern Cal guy. That's probably what we were wrong on. But you're absolutely
But
right.
it does look like he will be transferring to USC. Don't hate to see it. As a Texas fan.
I
was told he has that it factor.
He's good.
I was told that he was, should be in the Heisman conversation after 4 games. If we remember those talks that were being thrown around on like College Game Day after his 4 victories, and I was like,
He did jump onto the map electrically.
it was just because they didn't know who they wanted to like. Whatever, it was bad. It was bad decision
against a 5-win Texas team, as it would turn out. No, I'm not. Look, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
Gary Patterson rumored to be hitting the Texas staff as a special advisor.
I'm excited to watch.
Seems
Quinn
like a
Ewers
great
play.
move.
University of Texas has posted a position for an open position on their coaching staff because public university you have to post these things.
You can't get bendy with it.
Anybody can apply.
All signs.
You can apply.
Yes, correct.
I might.
All signs point to Gary Patterson taking on some sort of analyst, or however you pronounce that word.
I think you did it right.
Or consulting role with Texas, which of course coaches take those positions not only as like gap jobs, but usually they don't violate the terms of whatever your buyout was from your prior employer. So if TCU still owes him money, it doesn't like get them off the hook of having to pay him because he's not being a head coach. Also reunites him with Chris Del Conte, his associate athletic director from TCU, who's now at Texas. And lastly, I would imagine it puts Sark in an odd position, although him and Gary apparently are friendly with one another, obviously. But I don't know if you would feel like, hey, now we kind of know who would be next, or at least an interim option.
It's not that different than like Saban having Bill O'Brien on his staff.
Just looking over his shoulder at all times.
You don't want Bill O'Brien taking your gig if you're Saban. You gotta be careful. I'm sorry. He's the next coach to the Jags. No one's talking about
Patterson taking over a head coaching job at UT makes me sick to my stomach.
He wanted it back in the day.
I had to really genuinely walk through the mental gymnastics of like, okay, what if SMU ends up hiring him on accident, on purpose? And I think I told myself at the end of the day, I would just become a Tech fan. And that would be the end of it.
We need more Tech fans who listen to this show and interact with us on Twitter. So that would be cool. All right, let's run it back.
I'm about to unfollow.
Or
I'm sorry, that was the sports party. Man, I'm terrible today, and I apologize.
Yeah, we've been foot on the gas.
If you're new, I'm normally better. Dylan, you want to run it back?
Excuse me. Yes,
Stop
I would love
gaslighting
to
our
run it
fans.
back. Thank you for asking. Do I have a song here? Is it kind of beat?
KJ, give him the song.
Can you beatbox for me?
This is KJ's song.
Is it not on the board?
It might be. I haven't done this in a while. No, I don't think it's on here anymore.
All right. Well, it's time to run it back. Of course, this is the segment during which we talk about what we already talked about. Equanimous and Amon Ra, St. Brown's dead. John.
That was a cum thunder.
I'm so happy you made that button purple too.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
You're
guys.
like, oh, it's a spooky color.
Bay had no interest in the wild tie scenario for the Raiders-Chargers game. None. Justin Herbert got Tommy Johns as a young child to increase his arm strength. Joe Burrow, also a hot man.
Allegedly.
You don't think Burrow's at least kind of hot?
Pete Carroll is a hot 72.
He's got pretty boy swag. At least acknowledge that.
He's
does.
equal to Pete Davidson.
KJ,
Oh, no.
KJ remains
Okay.
impossibly horny. This time for Hillary Duff, a.k.a. Lizzie McGuire.
You got me all H'd up.
Dave wants to catch a show in Vegas during a bachelor party.
Sorry, I'm 37.
2 cocaine jokes this episode.
You're gonna.
I think both at my expense. Dylan's got a mouth on him, doesn't he? I didn't write that one. And finally, we just lost Indiana thanks to KJ.
Well, they were losing electoral votes anyway.
Randy could come in here right
I can't
now.
save it.
You're still digging.
Yeah, I know.
Randy can come in here right now and give us like one place that he thinks would be worth visiting in Indianapolis.
Fort Wayne's tight. I'll say that. How about that? Fort Wayne's tight. There you go.
That concludes Run It Back.
That was really good.
Evansville's Kentucky.
Well, I'll be watching the Natty tonight. I don't know about these two. Sounds like KJ's got better things to do, but I'll be watching. I might be tweeting. Either way, we'll be streaming Thursday.
I'm going to have exactly one electric jellyfish tonight.
Mm.
Why don't you slow down,
I said one.
Mr. Recovering from Cron?
I'll be all right.
Let the man have a little EJ tonight.
Hey, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. I just don't want you to have a relapse or whatever.
Bye-bye.
I want my chips with the dip. That's all I know. I don't want my chips plain. I want my chips with the dip. So bring them dips.
I'm just saying.